So Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl, you can't compare it to what Michael Jackson did or Prince or U2 or Bruno Mars. Those are just entertaining, great performances, iconic, just spectacular. This is different. This kind of slightly reminds me of like Beyonce when she performed and she had her dancers dressed like Black Panthers. What Kendrick did was subtle, overt, political, and entertaining. This almost feels like Public Enemy never had a shot ever to perform halftime at the Super Bowl. But this is like PE if they performed at a Super Bowl like in 1990 and 1991. Jay-Z did a good job selecting Kendrick. And people say, oh, it should be Lil Wayne is in New Orleans. Well, there's never been a precursor that whoever the whole city is, that artist should perform. I remember it was in Atlanta and he didn't have any, I think Maroon 5 performed in Atlanta and then Usher performed the next year. And Usher, actually, it was better that Usher performed the next year because there was such a strong buzz about Usher going into that Super Bowl. It made a lot of sense. And the same thing with Kendrick. Kendrick was the artist of the year of 2024, not Lil Wayne. And I like Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is fine. And if Wayne would have performed, people would have been entertained. And he might have also had the American flag. But you're not going to be dissecting Lil Wayne's performance after that. You know, you would have enjoyed it. You would have brought some folks up from maybe New Orleans and all that stuff, but it would have been fine. But Kendrick is different. So when people look at this performance, there's three people who are judging this performance. People who liked it, people who got it, and people who hated it. I'm in the middle. I liked it and I kind of got it. There are people on TikTok and YouTube who are totally dissecting the whole performance, where they got everything, every verse, everything that Sam Jackson said, every symbolism. They got everything. I'm not that guy. I got some things, but I really enjoyed the performance. So I got some of the symbolism. I didn't get everything. So I'm going to tell you the stuff that I got. So it started from the very beginning when Kendrick said he was on top of the car and he said the revolution is about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. He's telling you right off the bat, yeah, y'all shouldn't have picked me. But he's very subtle with it, right? Even though in the audience, at the end, he has game over, and that was for Drake. But in the middle, he has wrong way, was directed towards our president who was there, because this country is going in the wrong way. So there's that. Second thing he had, Sam Jackson as Uncle Sam. This feels like something Spike Lee would have done like 30 years ago. Or even like the last, like She Hate Me. Like She Hate Me with Anthony Mackie and the beautiful Kerry Washington. It seems like Sam Jackson just pop up in that film for no reason as Uncle Sam. It feels like something Spike would do, and it's fantastic that Sam Jackson is Uncle Sam. I think we need a petition to make Uncle Sam Sam Jackson. Can you imagine? Like Sam Jackson's pointing a finger at you, like, man, I want to fight for this brother. And listen, I got nothing against the original Uncle Sam. I always like the Uncle Sam picture, but man, Sam Jackson's Uncle Sam, I think that should be a thing. Shouldn't it? But Sam Jackson was great, and he was saying stuff throughout. Kendrick's performance was just fantastic. I got to find out how those two hooked up. And then the next thing we got Kendrick performing, and then his dancers all were wearing different colored sweatsuits. And I was like, oh my God, they're wearing red, white, and blue. And one of the best pictures ever is this picture here, where you have the flag divided. They're all matched up as the American flag, and they're divided. And Kendrick Lamar is saying like, hey, we are divided as a country. It goes with the thing where he said like wrong way in the audience. Like we are a divided country. We've always been a divided country, but we're a super divided country. And how can we pull us together? I remember a long time ago, someone said the most patriotic people in our country are Black Americans. Because Black Americans have always tried to push this country forward, always trying to fight for equality for everybody. Yeah. Like black folks they were fighting for us, but at the same time, it's like, no, we try to fight for us and for everybody. There are no other group who is more welcoming to other people than Black folks. We get stabbed in the back sometimes, but the most patriotic people in our country has always been Black people. Not to say other groups don't have the same patriotism, but it's different with us because we're always trying to push it forward. So some of the people who didn't like the performance, let me break that down. Some people who didn't like the performance, they might just know all the stars from Black Panther with Kendrick and SZA, or they might just know not like us. That's it. They don't know anything else about Kendrick Lamar. They don't know his story. They don't know anything. So they're like, I don't like it, just because they don't know anything about Kendrick. The other group who didn't like it, They were like, it's the worst performance ever. I hate it. There was one guy on X saying like Morgan Wallen should be a Super Bowl halftime performer. Now listen, Morgan Wallen is big time, right? Morgan Wallen, whenever this dude drops an album and goes #1 and sells a lot. So listen, I'm not denying this dude's star power, but Morgan Wallen really just he's really just a country artist. If you just grab a random people and ask them, name me 3 Morgan Wallen songs, most people can't do it. Even the people who don't know all Kendrick stuff, they know of Kendrick Lamar. Most people don't know Morgan Wallen that way. But these are the same people who scream like USA, USA. Even though Kendrick is probably doing the most patriotic performance ever. Patriotism to me is not putting a sticker on your car saying support the troops or wearing an American flag shirt or a hat or just chugging beer saying USA. No, patriotism is Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. People who is fighting for this country. That's patriotism. Patriotism is Kendrick Lamar basically saying like, hey, we got to using his platform to show the American flag, saying that we're divided. That's patriotism. So let me jump into some of the songs. I mean, one of my favorite songs is probably DNA. I love DNA. The video of him and Don Cheadle. That's always fantastic. He did Humble. And then there's All the Stars that he did with SZA. I always loved it. I love SZA. I love it. When you watch her performance, there's so much joy in her face when she's singing that song. That's such a joyful song, and it reminds me of the greatness of Black Panther. I cannot imagine that film without that song. Like Black Panther was great. And then it's like, it was the perfect song for that movie. And it just reminds me how much I miss Chadwick Boseman, how great he was as T'Challa, how great Michael B. Jordan was as Killmonger. Eric Killmonger is still one of the best villains ever on film. The storyline between African Americans in this country and Africans in Africa, that whole storyline. Black Panther 2 was okay. It just doesn't come close to what Black Panther 1 was. And even Black Panther 1, it brought together like black families. You have black men, black women, black kids. I think that's the last majority black film where black women, black men, and black kids were all as one. Now it's a gender thing. Like it's brothers are wrong, women are great. That's where we are. But man, I can't think of another black film where you walked out of there and black kids, black women, black men all felt proud because how great that film was. So shout out to All the Stars. Should have won an Oscar for Best Song. It lost Best Song to Shallow, the Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper song from Star is Born. That was a big song. So that's one of those rare years that I wish Best Song for the Oscars was a tie. Because Shallow was great, but All the Stars is great as well. So what do you guys think about the performance? I think it was great. People say, oh man, he just talked about Drake the whole time. It's like, there was a lot of stuff mixed up in there. The whole thing about game over at the end. I think Kendrick is now officially done with the Drake stuff. Because last week, the week before, he had won the song and record of the year for Not Like Us. And now that was the final trump card, was performing at the Super Bowl. So I think he's finally done with Drake. And I think if I'm Drake, forget the lawsuits and all that stuff. Just let it go, man. Just start off fresh. You know, you took a lot of hits. Just start fresh and you'll be fine. But yeah, and then Kendrick has the A minor chain on. It's just so petty. But overall, I think this performance by Kendrick is going to be a performance that's going to be dissected for years. Most Super Bowl performances are not dissected over the years. They'll say, oh my God, it's a great performance, but they're not dissected. People are going to watch this performance piece by piece, brick by brick. They'll watch the things that Kendrick was saying, what Kendrick was rapping about, the symbolism of the dancers, what different things they didn't see in the audience. Like there's going to be all this stuff. This is probably one of the greatest performances ever. It's just right off the bat, people aren't going to see it that way. Shout out to the haters that don't like it though. But these are the same people who scream about DEI and all that stuff. But they're perfectly fine with Elon Musk, who's a South African, destroying our government. Make that make sense. You hate all this stuff. You think Kendrick is not patriotic, but you're totally fine this South African tearing us apart. I don't know. What's really patriotism?